This is the web browser on the Kin 1. It's not a bad browser. It's better than most feature phones. You can see it has some decent capability. This is the mobile version of our site. Let's go to something a little more interesting, I guess, and I'll show you some cooler features of it that I haven't noticed on other browsers. So it comes up okay, like you would expect. One of the things I like here, you can just tap here to get to the input box or whatever, but I also like that you can just pull down to get to your bookmarks. I'll go back to, say, the home page again just by tapping on the bookmark up there. We'll scroll down all the way to the bottom and I'll load the full Mobile Burn website so you can see what that looks like. It's going to take a little bit of time to load up in all likelihood though. So here you can see the page coming up nicely. Everything's rendered properly. I mean, this is smartphone quality here in terms of rendering capabilities. Multi-touch zooming. Doesn't look like, let's wait till it's done rendering before I can try the double tap. But one of the things I've noticed is a lot of times the text just doesn't look that clear. I mean, it should be better looking than that. I'm going to stop the page from loading anymore just so I can move. Let's you can see it's not there. It's zoomed, it's large enough, it just should look better than that. Let's try double tap zooming controls. So you can see there is some intelligent zooming. But the quality of the fonts just is not very good at all. If you want to bookmark a site, all you have to do is hit the star right there, and it gives you options to add it to your favorites or add it to the loop, so as if you have an RSS feed in there, which we already have that one there, or you can pin it to apps. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pin it to apps, and then when we jump back to the main menu, let's flip over here, you'll see that I've just added it to the main menu. Here's the regular Mobile Burn website, and there's the mobile one that I had pinned to the apps menu already. So at this point I can just tap that again and automatically load it. So the browser's pretty capable. Just the zooming controls are a little awkward at times. It doesn't seem to like the multi-touch pinch stretch zooming all that well, and the fonts really don't look that clear at times. But much better than most feature phones. It just could use a larger, higher resolution display. I'm going to show you some of the scrolling characteristics. If you move slowly, the scrolling is a bit awkward. Doesn't track your finger all that well at times. It just seems to do much better with larger swipes. It's a bit weird. I don't know if it's CPU bound, needs more power, something like that. It's just, I have noticed that if you just set up the device and you just put in an Exchange account, maybe Facebook, Twitter, all these things pulling down contacts and stuff in the background, the device is going to drag a little and you're going to see the UI gets slower. In general, I found it to be pretty snappy though. Once I got it set up, my initial impressions when I was first setting up the device, I thought, oh wow, this thing's a dog, but because it doesn't really keep you informed in terms of what it's doing in the background. But once it was all set up, I think it works pretty well. Let's take a look at the alarm application. Just cool looking. You can set new alarms, and I like the switches it uses for settings. It does this in the regular settings for the phone too. You tap it, and the on's on one side, the off's on the other. I'll go into that settings screen right here so you can see what I'm talking about. Here's Wi-Fi controls and Bluetooth controls. Airplane mode or whatever. Turn them on, turn them off. Not a whole lot of settings. You can change themes though. I guess I'll change themes here. It has to restart the device in typical Windows fashion, just like a desktop PC, I guess. But let's pick a different font. We'll go with our different theme. We'll go with the blue one here, and we'll reboot the device, and you'll see it in a second. So here we are with the new and improved blue version of the device. You can see it really doesn't change much, just the accent colors, but it's still attractive. So you don't really have a heck of a lot of customization control when it comes to wallpapers and stuff like that. But you see, if we go back into settings here, you can change the lock screen wallpaper. You know, we could set it to something else here. Let's just do this pool shot or whatever for hit done. Turn off the device and turn it back on, and now you see the pool photo. Auto brightness control. I found the auto setting to work pretty well. I'm going to point out that when you're using Exchange account, it forces you to put PIN security on the device. So it'll ask you for a PIN every time you start up the device within a certain window, depending on what you have this set at. So a little bit annoying, but I guess Microsoft, being the owners of Exchange, figure it's worth the extra security. Location services, you can configure how much location information you want the device to have. I have the camera set up right now to use quick GPS, so it just gets a general view of what area you're in as opposed to street level stuff. And also, you know, you can have the search make use of location services as well. Account sync schedules, update the phone firmware, date and time, ringtones. A bunch of ringtones are all kind of like songs. Let's see. Play some of them for you. Oops. Have to hit the play button to play it. And then you tap on one to save it. Separate settings for ringtones for voicemail and messages, and then you can turn system sounds on and off and everything. Vibration effects, all that kind of stuff. And if you adjust the volume here, up and down, you can see you can change the ringer level, throw it into vibrate, silent. You don't have fine control over volume. There's really only 3 volume levels, low, medium, and high, but probably sufficient for most people. Another way to get into contacts, this help thing just goes into web-based help. Not all that interesting. And you can search different things here. I haven't played too much with this, but it looks like the same kind of search that you just use right from typing things from the home screen. Now I'm going to take a look at the captured photos that I've taken with the camera. I'll show you the camera itself a little bit later. You can see the most recent photos here are larger at the top, and as you get down to the older photos and videos and stuff, there's smaller thumbnails. So you can also notice, again, if you look at the left and right edge, you can see that there are things that I can swipe to. Yeah, here's some of the favorites. You can create albums. I haven't done so yet. And then you can get to online pictures. So I'm not going to spend the time doing that right now. And also to the left here, you can actually activate the camera, but I'll show you that a little bit later. So let's go into one of the photos here. This photo here was taken with the flash. This one here was taken with night mode. It's not actually night here, but it was pretty shaded, pretty dark, so you can see the difference that the two make. You have double tap zooming. Here's, you know, pinch, stretch, zooming, that kind of stuff. It's a 5 megapixel autofocus camera. A little bit slow on the focusing, but it seems to be fairly accurate in terms of how it performs focusing. I'm going to activate the camera here. I can do that by long pressing the shutter button or just swiping like I just did there. The shutter button again is up here, so it's a little bit unusual location. Let's take a quick photo. We're taking it, and of course I can delete it, share it, whatever. We're in the camera here. Let's take a quick look at the settings. Resolution, night mode, flash, geotagging, quick versus full. You know, GPS would be street level. So, and you know, white balance. Not too much here, but enough to do what you need to do. Quickly switch to video mode just by tapping up there in the corner. I'm going to jump back into the photo album here, and I'm going to show you what this spot here at the bottom of the screen has. Literally, actually, it's called the spot. I'm going to show you what that does. I've been ignoring it throughout the rest of the video, but I'm going to show you now how you can use it to share things. So I'm going to take this photo, I'm going to long press it, And you see how it kind of lifts off, and I'm going to drag it down to the spot. Then we're going to go somewhere else. We've got these RSS feed entries from Mobile Burn, you know, Facebook stuff. Let's just take one of these RSS entries here. I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to long press it. It'll lift off. I'm going to drag it to the spot. And then I'm going to send it to somebody. And again, to do that, I'm just going to long press on a contact, drag it down. We'll send it to Todd. And we'll send it to Michelle as well. And now you can see that the look of the spot has changed. You know, you can see it's somewhat filled up. So if I just tap on it, it brings up the contents. So I've got a photo, I've got an RSS entry, and 2 people. And now I can send it off to them quite easily just by hitting send. I can do it either with a text MMS or email. I'm going to send that as attachments with an email. Downloading the contents. I can put in a subject. Call it random stuff, and send it off. Very easy to share things. You can do a lot of different things can be shared. You know, photos, I think even songs and stuff like that. Pretty much anything you can just try to long press it and then see if you can drag it to the spot. And it's just pretty cool. It's a central function of the device. I think it's a little maybe too prominent. I don't really think sharing of photos and entries and stuff like that is that huge of a thing, but it is easy to do, and I can appreciate that. I'm going to bring up the phone app by pressing on the phone button here. It's really just a shortcut to the application. It's not a call send or call end button. So you see we've got a normal dial pad here, and you can tell if we swipe to the right there's other content here. Call logs, access to voicemail and stuff like that. Nothing too exciting. Let's jump back to the main menu and address the last thing on our list of features, which is the music system. Now, I'm not really familiar with the Zune devices and the Zune software, so I'm probably missing a lot of potential functionality in the system. But I do have it hooked up to a Zune Pass, which allows you to go through and basically get access to unlimited amounts of music as long as you're paying for the service. It's $14.95 a month. It comes with a free 2-week trial. So let's take a look at the music player. See, I have some stuff loaded up here. Album art, everything's supported. Multiple albums. It seems to be quite nicely organized. By albums, then you can organize, see the songs, see if they have bio, related artist. Now we're back to albums here. Now if I go to, say, let's see, Pink Turns Blue, this is an album that I got from the Zune Pass service by going through and just downloading it from Microsoft. Just pick a random track here so you can see what it looks like. So here's the player. You tap here, get your controls. It's volume up and down here, pause, play, and then track selection as well. Of course, it plays in the background. Can tap up here to get to different things, so I can go through in different albums and search all sorts of good stuff in here. I've got the Kin One's headphones plugged in. They're normal 3.5mm headphones. You see it has the Kin logo on them. We're doing that so as we can pull up the radio. The radio uses the headphones as an antenna. You can see there's seek functionality. It seems to know something about the stations too. It says what type of music it is. This is WAVV, soft music, it says. It's pretty cool. I'm not a big radio user, but looks like you can set presets and things like that. So, well, I already showed you that you could search on contacts just by typing. You can also search on applications. You see I started typing in settings and I found that. If I swipe over, I can search on other things like, let's say, ice cream. Search on ice cream here and get generic Bing results for ice cream, and I can also swipe once more and get local ice cream results. You can see it comes up with Cold Stone Creamery, which is in the area. You can tap on that and get additional information, and hopefully we'll get maps and that kind of stuff. And there you go. You can see the Bing search results, one-click directions. See how well that works. And there it is. So that's my look at the Microsoft Kin 1 for Verizon Wireless. It's a difficult device to recommend because while it only costs $49.99 with a 2-year subscription, it requires a full Verizon smartphone data plan. That means $30 a month. And that's a lot of money to pay for a feature phone. There's no app store. There's not even a calendar application on this device. There's no instant messaging as well. It really lacks expandability. It does offer some pretty good user interface functionality, nice feed integration, things like that. The camera is actually surprisingly good, and the online portal for Kin, where you can manage your phone remotely, really, really nice. It does some things really, really well, and it's just missing some core functions. I really like it personally. I would love to see it successful. I think on a $20 data plan, it would be a decent buy. On a $15 plan, it'd be a steal. And I think for the right people, it's still going to be a successful device. You know, the teenage people that are open to different things and looking for something a little more unusual, something a little more hip. And I think the Kin is that. It's got a really good-looking design. It's solidly built. I like the way it feels. It's got a lot going for it. It's just the price is going to kill it, and lack of some core functions we expect to find on a phone today are just missing. So again, that's the Microsoft Kin 1 for Verizon Wireless. I'm Michael Orrell for MobileBurn.com.